the analyst was able to calculate the upper threshold of the fair price for 4070 Ti. An American blogger from the I'm a Mac channel, using an analysis of Nvidia's pricing policy and very witty conclusions, was able to find out what price an ordinary user would be willing to pay for the 4070 Ti. It should be noted here that we are talking about the upper threshold of the price or its limit value, since calculations are carried out using previous Nvidia price indicators, and their objectivity raises serious questions for our analyst. So, to determine the fair price for 4070 Ti, we need to figure out what kind of animal it is in general. Initially, Nvidia was going to sell it as a 4080 with 12 GB of memory, but then it changed its mind. Together with the new marking, the card received a price tag at least $100 lower than the previous one, but most users and experts agree that the card's prices are still too high. The author suggests starting with the crystal, which, in his opinion, is the defining characteristic of any graphic card. According to the table proposed by him, all crystals of the current generation of video cards are divided into 3 families depending on their size. Since each side of the 4070 Ti chip is 295 mm long, it falls into the category of miniature chips that were traditionally released in the 60th subfamily. In particular, the previous representative of this type of card, the 3060, had 12 GB of RAM for a price tag of $329, while the 4070 with the same 12 GB will already cost the buyer $799. Looking at the boards of both graphics cards, our hero notices a large number of similarities between them. The 4070 Ti crystal is only 19 mm larger than the crystal of its younger brother from the 30th line, while the number of VRM voltage regulators has increased from 5 for the younger model to 11 for the subject of our conversation today. In addition, the analyst draws attention to a large amount of unused space on the board, which, in his opinion, is an example of inefficient design. By analyzing various statements of Nvidia representatives regarding the cost of manufacturing different generations of crystals, the author was able to conclude that the production of a crystal, the size of which is 19 square millimeters larger than the 3060 crystal, cost Nvidia $94 more. In addition, an analysis of the cost of the 3070 and 3070 Ti, which have a different number of VRM voltage regulators, suggested to our hero that Nvidia had to pay another $100 on top for increasing the power consumption of the 4070 Ti to 285 watts. Thus, given the fact that 3060 is extremely rare to find in stores at prices below $400, the author suggested taking this figure as a starting point, and then adding to this number $94 for increasing the crystal and $100 for changing the VRM. Thus, the maximum fair price for the 4070 Ti is $594, while Nvidia is offering it to users for $799. Well, comments are unnecessary.